Good afternoon, dear viewers, dear students, dear colleagues. I am Olena Vartanova from Kyiv National University of Technology and Design with my course Public Communication and Public Relations. And today we will discuss the next topic of our course. It's non-verbal communication, and the content of our class are definition of non-verbal communication, importance of non-verbal communication in public communication and PR, classification and types of non-verbal communication, and different manifestation of non-verbal communication. So the communication process is implemented with the help of certain means known as sign system. They are divided into verbal, from Latin verbalis, verbal, and non-verbal, wordless. And non-verbal communication usually occurs unconsciously and involuntarily. While individuals typically have control over their speech, the correctness and sincerity of linguistic information can be assessed based on the analysis of their facial expressions, gestures, and intonations. Some researchers claim that nonverbal signals constitute 60 or 80% of communication. And there are different typologies of nonverbal means of communication, as they are formed and perceived by different sensory systems: vision, hearing, tactile sensation, taste, and smell. And the timing of nonverbal communication is also taken into account. Nonverbal communication refers to the transmission of message or information without the use of words. It encompasses gestures, facial expressions, body language, tone of voice, and other subtle cues. Nonverbal communication plays a priority role in public communications, public relations, and interpersonal interactions, sharing how messages are perceived, understood, and interpreted by audiences. And nonverbal communication allows us to enhance message clarity, to convey emotions and intentions, to build trust and rapport, to engage audiences and capture attentions, to adapt to cultural differences, to provide feedback and response, to influence and purchase, and to complete verbal messages. And the importance of nonverbal communication can be underlined by the way of our limbic system, which is responsible for emotions and activated during nonverbal communication. And in summary, nonverbal communication is integral to effective public communication, facilitation clearer understanding, deeper engagement, and meaningful connection between speakers and audiences. By harnessing the power of nonverbal cues, speakers can elevate the impact and effectiveness of their message in deserved public communication settings. So the classification of nonverbal communication tools include 4 basic systems of nonverbal means of communications, and first of such system is kinesthesis, movements of body parts, which include gestures, facial expressions, smiles, touches, and postures. Next is speech, including intonation, range of voice, acceleration or deceleration of speech. Proxemics or space include special forms of communication, organization, distance from the interlocutor, arrangement or furniture. Next group is time, that include early arrival, lateness, accurate organization of the meeting, and finally, oculesis or eye movement, that include gazes, frequency, duration, avoidance of gaze. And according to research, more than 80 or 90% of all information is transmitted through nonverbal communication. And that types of nonverbal communication are body language, facial expressions, gestures, eye contact, posture and body movements, tone of voice, proxemics, use of space, touch, haptics, and appearance and dress. And first group of manifestation of nonverbal communication is body language. The first among nonverbal means of communication is kinesis, which includes gestures, facial express, pantomime, body movements, and also eye contact. Mimics or facial expressions are expressive movements of various parts of a person's face, especially eyes and mouth, which convey their psychological state at a certain point in time. And next is pantomime, a system of expressive human movements with the help of which individuals demonstrate their own internal psychophysiological state to other people or show their personal attitude to what is happening to them and around them. And the importance of body language in communication cannot be overstated. While verbal communication provides the content of the message, body language adds depth and nuance to the interaction. Next group of nonverbal manifestation is facial expressions or mimics, are expressive movements of various parts of a person's face, especially eyes and mouth, which convey their psychological state in a certain point of time. And the facial expressions in the picture illustrate both universal facial expressions, such as happiness, sadness, anger, and our other expressions such as indifference, surprise, joy, admiration, anger, disbelief, skepticism, and so on. All these fashion expressions are very informative in public communication, as they provide additional information to verbal models of communication. And next group of manifestation of non-verbal communication are gestures. Gestures are body movement that convey a person's inner state and provide information about their thoughts, feelings, as well as their attitude toward that is happening to them and around them. And there are 4 types of gestures depending on their purpose. Gesture symbols. For example, the gesture that forms the letter O with the thumb and 4 fingers as all is well in the USA and 0 in France. Next is illustrative gestures. These gestures complement speech and by adding hand movements in a specific direction and range. Regulatory gestures, for example, a traditional handshake, and adapted gestures. These gestures convey feelings and emotions. Ukrainian even have a description for one of these gestures. It's scratching the back of the head. And next group of manifestation are eye contact in public communication. And eye contact plays an important role in public communication as a powerful non-verbal signal that convey various messages, establish connections, and enhance the effectiveness of interpersonal interaction. And this figure demonstrates the importance of high human eye movement in communication that allows not only obtain information, but most importantly, to interrupt whether the information is true or false. And you can see that if person averts his eyes to the left and up, this is the sign of truth. Or to the right and up, the sign of construction of information, fiction, or lie. And for the left-handed people, everything will be an opposite. Next group of manifestation of nonverbal communication is appearance and dress. And the influence of appearance and dress on communication is substantial, as it often shares initial perceptions and judgment about the individuals. And appearance and clothing in public communication are influenced by the following factor. First, its first impressions, because the way of a person dresses and presents themselves can create a lasting first impression. It sets the tone for the interaction and influences how others perceive them. Next is professionalism. In a professional setting, appropriate attire convey professionalism, competence, enhance credibility, and foster a positive professional image. Next is personal branding. And the personal style and attire contribute to individual branding and identity. The way individuals dress communicates aspects of their personality, value, and personal preferences, which can influence how they are perceived by others. Next is cultural significance. Confident and comfort, because dressing is attire that makes individuals feel confident and comfortable, can positively impact their communication style and effectiveness. Next is a social perception. Clothing choices can influence social perception and judgment. And in general, appearance and fashion are an important part of communication, which can provide information about cultural codes, profession, social position of a person, and belonging to social group, self-confidence, and so on. Next group of signals are tone of voice in public communication, and nonverbal means of communication related to the tone of a person's voice are very important and include tone of voice and its vocalization, such as intonation, volume, tempo, timbre, and tonality, and interpercet in the voice, laughter, crying, coughing, diction, and so on. And the different tones of voice and their interpretation are important, for example, in assertive or aggressive tone of voice. And in assertive tone, it indicates a constructive approach to communication and to problem solving. And the tone of voice conveys emotions that adds layers of meanings to verbal communication and helps convey the speaker's emotions, attitudes, and intentions. And tone influences the communication of emotion, thoughts, expressiveness, impact of interpretation, emotion connection, influence of behavior, and cultural consideration. So, as a conclusion, I can say that all informational messages in communication can be conveyed verbally or non-verbally. And non-verbal communication is more informative. Up to 90% of information is transmitted through non-verbal communication. Non-verbal communication usually occurs unconsciously, involuntarily, and is difficult to control. The classification of non-verbal means of communication includes facial expressions, pantomime, eye movement, image and appearance, tone of voice, and other. Through non-verbal communication, we can perceive between trust and falsehood. So, on the next slide, you can see the literature and links for online course Influencing People. And it's all for today. Thank you for your attention. See you. Bye.